My name is Victoria Winters. Collinwood in the morning sunlight appears to be serene and peaceful. But inside the great house there are those who cannot know serenity, who must be denied peace, because they harbor dangerous and frightening secrets. One woman in particular must endure a life of torment, because she harbors a secret that could destroy her.
I'll get it.
Hello, Liz.
Richard, come in.
Hello, Carolyn.
Hello, Mr. Garner. I didn't know you were coming here today.
Well, I hadn't planned to until I got your mother's phone call. What's the emergency, Liz?
Let's go into the drawing room.
Carolyn, was that Mr. Garner I heard? Yes. And he's here because of some kind of emergency. I don't know what it is. It's probably just something to do with the cannery. I don't think so. I think something's going on. Did you hear Mother last night? No. She was up all night long. I could hear her in her room, pacing up and down. Something terrible is about to happen, Vicki. I can sense it. I feel like we're all sitting on a keg of dynamite. And any minute it's going to explode.
I don't understand you, Liz.
What do you mean?
Well, you tell me to drop everything and get right up here. Now that I'm here, you hem and haw and refuse to get to the point.
Well, I'd like your legal advice on a personal matter.
Well, what is it?
I assume I'm still legally married.
Well, of course. I begged you to start divorce proceedings years ago, but you wouldn't.
Well, perhaps it's time.
Well, it's high time, I'd say.
Would it be difficult for me to get a divorce?
Easiest thing in the world.
As easy as that?
No judge in the world would refuse to grant a divorce to a woman whose husband deserted her 18 years ago.
Would Paul have to be served with papers? I haven't the faintest idea where he is.
No, the law takes care of a case like this. You post a public notice. Then if Paul doesn't appear to protest the divorce, the judge assumes that it's uncontested and it's granted.
How long does it take?
Well, I could see that you're divorced in a maximum of 90 days, perhaps even sooner.
90 days?
Well, I'm sure I could rush it through even faster than that.
Oh, no, I don't care how long it takes. I'm in no rush.
Why are you suddenly thinking about divorce after all these years?
Because I want to break off all ties with Paul Stoddard.
Oh. For a minute, I thought maybe you were considering getting married again.
I am not. Of course I'm not.
Perhaps you should get married again. I've often thought that.
I'm not thinking of getting married. Who would I marry?
Good morning. Oh, didn't realize you had company. I hope I'm not intruding.
Jason, the doors were closed.
Oh, yes, I'm terribly sorry. I'm Jason McGuire.
Oh, Richard Garner.
Garner. Oh, now that sounds familiar. You must be Liz's lawyer.
That's right.
Well, then, I assume you're here to discuss Liz's divorce.
Jason, that's none of your business. I guess we've settled everything we have to say for the time being. And thank you for driving up here.
Oh, of course. Do you want me to start drawing up the divorce papers right away?
I'll phone you.
Well, it's not necessary to make any delay, do you think, Liz?
I'll phone you.
All right. Don't bother to come to the door. I know my way.
Goodbye, Richard.
Goodbye, Liz.
Goodbye, Mr. Garner. It was a pleasure meeting you. A real pleasure.
My pleasure. Goodbye.
Well, Liz, so you decided to start the ball rolling, eh?
I haven't decided what I'm going to do.
Well, of course, you're going to get a divorce. And then you're going to marry me. That's the purpose for the divorce.
How can I marry a man I detest?
Oh, come now, Liz, you're exaggerating. You know, you're much fonder of me than you pretend to be.
I loathe the sight of you.
Oh, well, that's too bad. Because I'm so very fond of you.
Don't say that because it isn't true.
Well, no. Would I marry a woman I wasn't fond of? And we're going to get married, Liz. And we're going to be happy. Very happy.
Hello, Liz.
Hello, Roger.
Join me in a brandy.
Yes, thank you.
Good. Well, you can't say I didn't earn my salary today. That office was in complete chaos. All of the secretaries are staying home because of these attacks that have been happening. They're afraid to leave their houses. We were terribly understaffed, and even I had to help out with the clerical work.
Did you?
Well, everybody did.
Thank you.
Everybody, that is, except your friend, Jason McGuire, who didn't even bother to come into the office.
Well, he said he wasn't feeling well, that he had a slight cold.
Even when he's in the office, he's about as useful as David would be. I can't for the life of me imagine why you gave that man that job.
Oh, let's not go into that.
No, let's not. I don't want any arguments. I'm too tired.
Have they found Maggie Evans yet?
No, not yet. The sheriff, with his usual efficiency, doesn't even have a clue. They've called in the state authorities. They had to. The town is in an uproar.
Roger,
Yes?
I have something to tell you.
Well, what is it?
I saw Richard Garner this afternoon, and I'm thinking of going ahead with the proceedings for a divorce.
Why, Liz, I'm delighted to hear it. Well, as far as I'm concerned, you should have done that years ago.
Well, apparently I won't have much trouble getting one.
Oh, congratulations. Well, you'll be free and clear of that scoundrel if he ever shows up here again.
I doubt that he would ever show up.
Well, you'll be prepared for him if he does. You won't have any legal ties on you.
That's right.
I'm delighted, Liz. Really delighted.
So am I.
We didn't have much luck with marriage, did we? Neither one of us.
No.
Well, perhaps we're people who were never meant to be married. Both of us.
I wouldn't say that.
What?
I wouldn't say that I wasn't meant to be married.
Yes, but you've always maintained that your marriage was one of the worst mistakes of your life.
I was talking about one marriage, not marriage in general.
Well, still, you feel the same as I do. You wouldn't consider a second marriage.
Oh, I might consider it
You would?
if I met the right man under the proper circumstances.
Well, you amaze me. I never thought I'd hear you talk like this. How would you marry again? Who would you marry? You haven't seen anyone outside of this family for years, by your own choice.
I know. And I was speaking hypothetically. I don't expect to marry again.
Well, it even amazes me that you would consider the possibility.
It isn't a possibility. A woman gets lonely, that's all I meant.
Liz, are you hinting something?
No, of course not.
Well, it sounds like you are.
Well, I'm not.
Liz?
Oh, good evening, good evening.
Well, the invalid.
Well, I still have a slight cold. I wonder if I might have a sip of your brandy for medicinal purposes.
Well, I'm surprised you ask. You usually make yourself so completely at home.
Well, only because Liz makes me feel so welcome here. So much a part of the family.
Whose family?
Why, Liz's family, of course.
Liz may consider you a member of this family. I certainly don't.
Well, you know, you just may have to change your opinion about that.
What do you mean by that?
Ask Liz.
Liz, what's he talking about?
I'm sure I don't know, and I have to see Mrs. Johnson about dinner.
Vicky, would you ride into town with me? I have to pick up some things at the drugstore.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I promised David that I'd read to him.
Please. I'm afraid to drive into town alone. I'd feel much better if you'd come with me.
Of course. You shouldn't go alone. I can read to David later.
Do you suppose they'll ever find Maggie Evans?
I'm beginning to doubt it.
That madman, whoever he is, must have gotten to her and taken her away with him from the hospital.
Frightening thought.
Everything about the things that have been happening is frightening. And I can't help thinking it might have been one of us. And who's going to be next?
Carolyn, please don't talk about it.
Well, I can't help thinking about it.
Neither can I.
Well, here you are, kitten. Well, I've got some news for you. Either your mother has taken leave of her senses, or I have.
What is it, Uncle Roger? What are you talking about?
Well, to begin with, she saw Garner today. She's thinking of starting divorce proceedings against your father.
So that's why Mr. Garner was here.
Well, is it such a bad idea for Mother to get a divorce? Feeling the way she does about my father?
Well, that in itself is a splendid idea. But it's the motive for getting a divorce that astonishes me. Either I've lost my mind, or your mother was hinting, and hinting very strongly, that she's thinking of marrying again.
Mother.
Yes, she was making all sorts of schoolgirl pronouncements about being alone and needing someone. I could scarcely believe my ears.
But Mother can't get married again. Who would she marry?
Who is the only man she's seen for months outside of the family? Who's already insinuated his way into this house and now into the family business?
Jason McGuire.
None other.
You must be kidding.
I wish I were.
I can't believe that Mrs. Stoddard would even think of marrying him.
Of course she wouldn't. She detests him, no matter what she says.
All I know is he came into the room when we were talking and hinted very strongly that he was going to be a member of this family very soon, and your mother didn't contradict him.
I can't believe it.
Well, I prefer not to. I prefer to think that either your mother has taken leave of her senses or I have.
I know one thing for sure. My mother wouldn't even think of marrying that man unless he were exerting some kind of pressure on her, threatening her in some way.
Oh, there must be some reason for her behaving this way. He snaps his finger and your mother jumps as though she hasn't a will of her own anymore.
He must have some hold over her. But what?
And I wish I knew.
Maybe she thinks it's best if you don't know. For some reason of her own.
It isn't best for her to marry that man. Not that I believe she really would do it. No matter what he knows about her, she couldn't go that far.
Well, I wouldn't count on it. She's already let him into this house, into the family business. She might go a step further.
I can't let it happen. I can't.
Well, how do you propose to stop her? She won't listen to you. She has a will of iron when she's not around McGuire.
I'll find out what he knows about her and expose him.
I can't help but think it has something to do with that room in the basement.
The locked room, yes.
Your mother gets terrified whenever it's mentioned. There must be a reason for it.
She has something hidden in there. Something she doesn't want us to see. And And Jason knows about it, and that's his hold over her.
Carolyn, you could be jumping to a lot of wrong conclusions.
Maybe. But I still want to see what's in that room. If I could just find the key. I've looked everywhere for it with no luck.
Well, it doesn't surprise me that you haven't found it, considering where it is.
Do you know where it is?
Well, of course. It's on a chain around your mother's neck.
On a chain.
Yes. The nurse removed it when she went to the hospital. It was the first thing your mother asked for when she came back. Wouldn't be at all surprised if that's where it was right now.
I'm going to get that key from my mother. I'm going to get into that room.
She won't give it to you, Carolyn. You know that.
Then I'll steal it from her or break in there. But I've got to find out what's in that room. I've got to.
How dare you imply we're going to be married?
But what difference does it make? The entire household will know very soon. I think it's best that they be prepared.
I haven't said yes, and I'm a long way from saying it.
Yes, but you will.
Oh, don't be too sure, Jason. A few years in prison is preferable to a lifetime with you.
Ah, yes. But what about the look on Carolyn's face when she finds out that you murdered her father?
Don't!
I'm sorry to bring up such painful reminders, Liz, but you must be realistic about this.
I am being realistic. I am not going to marry you.
Time will tell. Oh, why don't you sit down? Dear Liz, you look exhausted.
Don't call me that.
Well, why not? After all, you are very dear to me.
Don't, please.
Mother,
Carolyn, what do you want?
please give me the key to the room in the basement.
Don't start all that again.
Well, at least you have to give Carolyn credit for being persistent.
I want that key. Please give it to me.
You know I don't know where it is.
I do.
What?
It's on a chain around your neck.
That's ridiculous.
Mother, I can see the chain. Take it out and show me what's on it.
No.
Then it is where you keep the key, where it's been all along.
Carolyn, if you care for me at all, please stop this.
Mother, don't you see? I'm trying to help you.
Help me?
I know this man has some kind of hold over you. And I'm pretty sure it has to do with that room in the basement.
That's insane.
Well, if I'm wrong, then give me the key and let me find out for myself.
No.
What are you hiding, Mother? What's down there?
I'm not hiding anything. I've told you what's down there. Some things that belong to your father.
I don't believe that. I think there's much more in that room than just some old clothes. Why would you go to so much trouble to hide those?
Because of memories.
Will you give me the key?
I said no, Carolyn.
All right. Then I'll break in there. But I'll get into that room somehow.
I forbid it.
I have to, Mother. I have to find a way to stop Jason from doing the things he's doing to you.
Carolyn. Carolyn, please just let me alone. I beg of you, let me alone.
Carolyn, why do you make so much trouble for your poor mother?
You're the one who's causing all the trouble.
Oh, I am I? You know, Carolyn, I think you should get into that room in the basement.
Why?
Well, if only to prove that I'm not quite the villain you imagine me to be. To prove that there's nothing more there than what your mother said. Some of your father's belongings. I'll even get you the key.
And how do you plan to do that?
Well, simple. I'll just ask your mother for the key.
And she'll give it to you when she won't give it to me.
Well, if I approach her in the right fashion. Just give me a few days, and I'll speak to her when she's not quite so upset.
I don't believe you'll speak to my mother, and I don't believe she'll give you the key.
Ah, no, don't be too sure, Carolyn. Your mother is very anxious for you to accept me.
I don't believe that either, Jason. I don't believe a word you say. And I won't rest until you're out of this house.
Well, now. We'll see about that, dear girl. We'll see about that.
Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production.